Hello, everybody. It is Jenna from Sunrise Studio Wellness. Thank you so much for joining me for today's practice. Today's practice is going to be a short 30-minute practice working to ground us in what appears to be a very busy time of the year. Today is Christmas Eve. We are ramping up in the holiday spirit, and a lot seems to be going on in our world. Fast-paced energy, lots of change, especially as we move into this next wave of the pandemic. And so with so much changing around us and with so much energy in our fast-paced environment, I think it's really timely that we have a practice to help ground us, to help us feel more settled, release some of that anxiety and fear and busyness that seems to be surrounding us every day. So I invite you to make your way onto your mat and we'll get started with today's practice. We're going to begin sitting in a cross-legged position. Go ahead and remove the flesh from the back of your sitting bones. Notice how that helps to sit you up a little bit taller. And if you're feeling like you need to have a little bit of a boost today, go ahead and grab hold of one of your yoga blocks. If you don't have a yoga block, a book, a hardcover book, work just fine, or even a cushion, and slide that underneath your sitting bones and notice how that props you up just a little bit taller. Your hips are now higher than your knees, and that just helps to lengthen and elevate your spine and the crown of your head towards the top of the room. I now invite you, if it feels comfortable for you and safe to do so, to allow your eyes to come to a close. Your palms are resting gently on your thighs. And I invite you to turn your palms face down to symbolize a grounding energy. Begin to deepen your breath. Throughout today's practice, I invite you to continue to return to your breath. Anytime you notice that your mind is wandering back into the hustle and bustle and the busyness that the holiday season brings to us. On your mat here today and in your practice today, can you allow yourself moments to ground deeply with your body into Mother Earth? The ground beneath you, your mat, the surface beneath you. Notice which points of your body are connecting with the surface beneath you. And can you, in those moments that you're noticing, feel what it feels like to be held, to be supported? Knowing that at any time, as we move off our mat into the world and the busyness, that we can always simply return to our body, our breath, as reminders on what it feels like to be held, supported, and connected. Beautiful. Gently blink your eyes open if they are closed. Your gaze is softly ahead of you. Releasing your palms from your thighs. Inhale, take a deep breath, lift your arms up and overhead. Exhale, swan dive your arms down beside you as if they are pushing through mounds and mounds of molasses, moving even slower than what feels usual to you here. And then inhale once again, extend your arms up and overhead, connecting your palms right above the crown of your head. Exhale, send your palms down to the ground beneath you. If you're sitting up on a block, I now invite you to remove that block from your sitting bones, ground down through both sit bones, so your hip bones are firmly grounded down here underneath your seat. Inhale, extend your arms up and overhead. Interlace your fingers up and overhead and extend just your index fingers so as if they're pointing towards the sky. Take a moment to loop your shoulders onto your back body and extend just a little bit longer through your hands up towards the sky. Perhaps on your next inhale, your gaze travels up towards your hands overhead. Exhale here. Inhale to extend just a little bit higher. And then exhale, think up and over as you begin to arch both arms over to the right side. The important thing here is to stay grounded evenly through both hip bones. So instead of lifting up and bending from our torso, we're going to imagine that we're reaching up and over through our shoulders and arching over a big beach ball right here. If you're beginning to notice that your front shoulder, your left shoulder is collapsing inward, see if you can spiral your left shoulder back in space. Beautiful. Inhale, return to center. Exhale, draw both arms beside you. Good, stay here for a moment. Inhale, extend your arms up and overhead. Interlace your fingers. Extend your index fingers towards the sky. Good. Reach just a little bit higher. And on your exhale, begin to arch up and over to the left side. Feeling a nice deep stretch here on the right side of your body along your torso. Perhaps all the way into your arm, all the way into your hip bone. Once again, if you're noticing that you're collapsing here, see if you can circle and spiral your shoulder backwards in space. Good, and then inhale, return to center. Exhale, swan dive your arms down. Good, hands come beside your hips for a moment here. Inhale, extend your shoulders up towards your ears. Exhale and release. Notice what it feels like to release and let go here. Inhale, extend to your ears. And on your exhale, imagine releasing and letting go of any tension, anything that doesn't serve you here in this moment. Good. Ground down through your right palm here. It should be in line with your right hip. So right here beside your hip. And then inhale, extend your left hand up and overhead. Perhaps you walk your right hand out a few inches and extend your left hand up and overhead. Once again, arching over a big beach ball here. Resisting the urge to collapse, instead drawing your left shoulder back in space as if you're sliding your back and your arms against a wall behind you. Good, and then inhale, return to center. Drop your left palm down to the mat now. Extend your right arm up and overhead, arching over just like a big full moon, creating a nice circular shape with your arm here. Drawing your right shoulder back in space. Perhaps your gaze travels up towards your top hand. If that feels like too much for your neck, gaze can stay directly in front of you or even down towards your bottom hand. Inhale, return to center. You got it. Okay, this time we're going to extend both arms up and overhead. This time we're going to twist to the right, just slowly moving our left hand to cross over our right knee. So across your body in a diagonal, sending your right hand behind you in space, dropping your right hand towards the back of your room, behind your tailbone. Inhale, extend through your crown. And then exhale, just an easy seated twist here. Your twist originates from your core, so avoid cranking too much with your head or your shoulders. Using your core. Your gaze travels beyond the top of your right shoulder. Stay here for your exhale. Inhale, release and return to center. Send both arms up and overhead. Exhale, return both arms down. This time, hook your right hand across your left knee, across your body there. Good. Send your left hand backwards in space. Tent up on your fingers. Notice how that helps to push you up a little bit taller. Inhale, sit nice and tall. Imagine someone's pulling a string from the crown of your head to help you sit up even taller. And then exhale, begin to deepen your twist. Your gaze travels over to the left side of the room, perhaps over your left shoulder if that feels comfortable for you. You got it, and then inhale, return to center. Good. Slowly begin to make your way onto your hands and knees in tabletop position. Being really mindful of your transition here. And as you make your way into your tabletop position, notice which parts of your body are making firm contact with the ground beneath you. So when you connect your hands towards the floor, notice all four corners of your palm grounding deeply into the mat. Your knees are directly underneath your hip bones. Your toes are curled under for some extra stability. Good, and then avoid locking out through your arms. Instead, invite a little micro bend into your arms here so that we can engage our muscles instead of putting too much pressure onto our bones. Inhale, drop your belly, lift your gaze. You got it. Exhale, curl your chin to your chest, round through your spine, pushing away from the mat into cat pose. Inhale, drop your belly, lift your gaze. You got it. Exhale, round through your spine, to chin to chest, push away from your mat. Hug your tailbone into your body. You got it. We'll cycle through your cat-cow at the pace of your own breath, just for a few more cycles here. Moving into each posture as you breathe. In through your nose and out through your nose. Good. After you finish your next cycle of cat-cow, find stillness in your tabletop position here. Root down very firmly through all four corners, and when I say all four corners, I'm talking about all four edges here of your palm. Root down through your left four corners of your palm here. Use the grippy parts, the pads of your fingertips, to help you even out that balance. Micro bend your elbow, and then inhale, extend your right arm all the way up to the sky. Good. Exhale, swing your right arm through. Don't drop down just yet, just swing it through. We're moving through a little bit of a flow. Inhale, extend your right arm up to the sky. Exhale, swing your right arm through. Inhale, arm up to the sky. Good. Exhale, this time drop your right hand down towards the mat. Lift your left hand up, root down through all four corners of your right hand this time. Inhale, extend your left arm up towards the sky. Exhale, slide your left arm underneath your right. Good, just like a pendulum, swing back up, inhale. Breathe out, slide your left arm underneath your body. You got it. One more cycle, warming up the spine here. And then exhale, slide your arm through. Good. Return to a tabletop position on your hands and knees. Walk your fingertips out to the top of your mat, maybe a foot or so. Tense your fingertips. And then with your toes tucked under here, begin to sit your hips back down towards your heels. Perhaps you need to walk your fingertips out even further away from you so that you can really feel a nice stretch along your upper back and the backs of your shoulders. Inhale here. Exhale, begin to sink a little lower. Keep your armpits lifted here and raised off the mat. You got it. So you're staying engaged through your upper back and your upper body and your arms here, but feeling a nice release down your spine. Good. One more breath here. And then exhale. Let it go. Good. Begin to walk your fingertips up towards your tabletop position. Ground down evenly through all four corners of your palms. With your toes tucked under, begin to pike your hips up and back by just lifting your knees off the mat, keeping your knees generously bent as we move into an inverted V position. Adjust as necessary. Perhaps you need to take a few steps back or move your fingertips forward a few inches. Keeping a nice, generous bend here in your knees as we move into our first downward dog of the practice. Inhale through your nose. Exhale, part your lips side out, H-A. Good, begin to pedal out through your heels here, finding some openness along the backs of your legs. And then find stillness in your downward facing dog. Look between your palms and begin to slide forward. Knees stay off the ground here just for a moment into high plank position. If this feels like too much for you, you're welcome to drop your knees down towards the mat. You're still getting the same engagement as long as you're engaged through your core. Good. If your knees are lowered down to the mat, stay there. If you're high up in your plank position, join us with your knees down onto the mat. Hug your elbows in towards your body, untuck your toes, and then lower your top of your body down towards the mat. Chaturanga Dandasana. Good, pressing evenly into both palms here. Begin to lift your chest, your heart up off the mat, just slowly, just a little bit, and then lower back down. Doing that again, lifting through your arms this time, pushing into your arms a little bit more, seeing if you can elevate your heart off the mat, creating a little bit of tightness in your low back, but really opening up through your heart, and then lower back down. Doing one more of this variation in Cobra, pressing into your arms, lifting your heart up off the mat, and then lowering down. Good, tuck your toes up from behind you, push into your palms, moving through a plank position, and then lift your hips up and back into downward facing dog, pedaling out through your heels here as you need to, finding what feels good for you here in your downward facing dog. Notice if one side feels different than the other side. Notice perhaps your right or your left leg feels more tight or more open, stronger or a little bit more tense. You got it. Find stillness in your downward facing dog exactly where you are. And then inhale, look between your palms. Begin to take little baby steps towards the top of your mat. Align your feet about hip distance apart, ground down through all four corners of your feet this time. And then exhale, let it go. Fold forward, a little micro bend in your knees to avoid locking out through your knees there. Perhaps you grab onto opposite elbows, letting your head droop down. Feeling what it feels like to be supported by your feet, as we are most of the day. But really taking a moment here to connect with your body and notice what it feels like to be held up on this earth. Good. If your arms are clasped or you've got opposite elbows, unclasp your arms. Inhale to a halfway lift. Slide your fingertips to your shins. Create a semblance of a flat back. Extend through the crown of your head. And then exhale, fold forward. Inhale, root to rise. Press down into your feet evenly. Extend both arms all the way up to the sky like rays of sunshine here. You got it. Connect your palms overhead and then draw your palms down to heart center and alongside your waist. Beautiful. Right here in Tadasana, mountain pose, invite yourself to close your eyes if that feels comfortable and safe for you. If not, just lower your gaze down towards the floor for a moment here. Inhale, loop your shoulders up towards your ears, backwards in space, and then down again, creating a little bit more space between the tops of your shoulders and your ears. Good, a little micro bend in your knees here so you engage your quads, the tops of your thighs. Standing here in Tadasana, mountain pose, notice what it feels like to embody the energy of a mountain. Rooted firmly, grounded evenly, calm, still. Despite all the weather and the changing elements around you as a mountain, you remain rooted, grounded, calm. Good. If your eyes are closed here in Tadasana, begin to gently blink them open. Inhale, extend your arms all the way up overhead. Exhale, swan dive your arms down, hinge at your hips and fold forward. You got it. Inhale to a halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward, plant your palms on either side of your feet and then step back into a high plank position. Beautiful. Inhale, slide forward in your high plank position. Option to lower your knees down here as you lower down to the mat. Hug your elbows in Chaturanga Dandasana. Untuck your toes, press into your palms, lift your heart forward into Cobra. Perhaps you lift your knees off the mat, moving into upward facing dog. And then curl over your toes, lift your hips up and back into downward facing dog and breathe. Beautiful. Inhale, extend your right leg behind you. So lift it off the mat. Send your right toes towards the back of your room. Look between your palms and then swing your right leg all the way forward, planting down through your right foot. You're welcome to use your hand to help your foot inch up a little bit further, aligning your right knee over your right ankle. Good. Inhale here just for a moment. Exhale, lower your left knee down towards the mat. Keep your back toes curled under here. Root down through all four corners of your feet. Engage your core and then inhale, lift all the way up. Arms come all the way beside your head here. In your low lunge. Good. Lunging a little bit deeper into your front knee so that your knee traces directly over your ankles. Interlace your fingers behind your back, pulling your hands down behind your back body. Inhale here. Option to stay exactly where you are with your feet, just for a moment. If you'd like to engage your back leg, go ahead, fire up that back leg, lifting it off the mat. And whether you're raised or lowered, begin to tilt your torso forward towards the inside of your right bent knee at the front. If this feels like too much for your shoulders, unclasp your hands and align them on either side of your foot. Good. And then inhale, return all the way back up. Lower your left knee back down towards the mat. And then begin to sit your hips back down towards your left heel. Sliding off that right foot just for a moment. Flexing your right toes up towards the sky. Using your fingertips here to keep your balance. And then rolling back into your front foot. Framing your front foot with both palms. Sliding your right knee backwards in space. You got it. Take a big step forward with your left knee. Good. Inch your heel up a few inches. Engage your core. Lift your torso up. Lunge into your front knee so that your left knee is now tracing over your left ankle, and you can feel a nice stretch along your right hamstring. Option here to interlace your fingers behind your back body, or for now, keep them on your hips or even in prayer position in front of your body. Whatever hand variation you choose, inhale here. Option to fire up your back leg for some more engagement along that right leg, and then begin to teeter-totter your your torso inside your left knee. Good, so you can have your hands on your hips for this, or even in prayer position. Good, if you're up, and you've got your back leg fired up, drop your hands down, lower your right knee down towards the mat. With your right toes staying tucked under, begin to sit your hips back towards your heels, slowly beginning to peel your left toes off the mat, flexing them up to the sky as you sit your hips down towards your heels, really feeling a nice juicy stretch along your left hamstring there. You got it. And then inhale, begin to walk your fingertips back up in space here. Frame both hands on either side of your left foot. Step your left foot backwards in space. Take your knees as wide as your mat and your toes touch in the center of your mat. Walk your hands forward one step. And slowly begin to sit your hips back down towards your heels. Perhaps creating a pillow for your forehead with your palms stacked one on top of the other, or fists stacked one on top of the other. Or if you'd like a juicier stretch today, allow your forehead to make its way down towards the mat in child's pose. Taking some nice deep breaths here. Noticing what it feels like. Noticing what it feels like here in child's pose, to be well supported in multiple areas of your body. Notice that the earth is holding you up here. And it's pulling you down to help connect you and ground you to the surface beneath you, keep you rooted. When sometimes in the busyness of life, it feels like we're going to fly away, we can always just mindfully bring our attention back to which parts of our body are connected to the surface beneath us. If we're sitting, perhaps that's our sitting bones, the backs of our thighs. If we're standing, our feet, or lying down, our back body. Take one more deep breath here in your child's pose. On your next inhale, begin to walk your palms closer in towards your body. Good. Slide forward onto your hands and knees. Take your toes and your knees as wide as your hips here. Good. With your toes tucked under, just hover your knees off the mat for just a second here. Engaging your quadriceps, noticing what it feels like to feel that engagement, and then lower back down. We're going to do that one more time. Here we go. Lift your knees off the mat for 3, 2, and 1. Lower back down. Good. Walk your palms forward just a step in space. Hover your knees off the mat for 3, 2, 1. This time don't lower, lift your hips all the way back in space, moving into downward facing dog. You got it. Inhale, extend through your right leg back behind you. Good. Stay here for just a moment. Notice what it feels like to stay high on your back toes, your left toes that are on the mat. Stay high on your left toes. Look between your palms, swing your right foot all the way forward. Pivot on your back foot so that your toes are facing the long edge of your mat now with your left foot. Good. Walk forward so that your right, with your hands, so that your right knee is over top your right ankle. Engage through your core here, and then inhale, windmill your arms all the way up to the sky. Sending your left arm to the back of the room, your right arm to the front of the room. Your gaze towards your front arm. Virabhadrasana 2, Warrior 2. Take a peek down at your knee. Notice if it's tilting inwards or outwards. See if you can align it nice and straight over your right ankle. Inhale here. Exhale, drop your back hand, lift your front hand. Extend your right hand all the way up towards the sky, exalting your warrior, and then exhale, return to Warrior 2. Do that again. Inhale, exalt your warrior, reverse warrior here. Exhale, return to Warrior 2. Inhale, up and back. Exhale to return to center, maintaining that nice lunge in your front leg. This time, drop your right forearm down towards your right thigh, so on top of your thigh. Take a moment before you do anything with this left arm to spiral out your left hip. So notice if it's collapsing inwards. Go ahead and place your palm there for just a moment, and then feel what it feels like to be pulling it backwards in space. So spiraling your glute muscle in towards your body, your hip out away from your body. And now begin to extend your left arm up and overhead, moving into extended side angle pose variation here. You can be looking up towards your hand if that's too much for your neck, directly in front of you, or even down towards your bottom foot. Find what feels good and supportive here for you. Good. Inhale, windmill all the way back into Warrior 2. This time, extend through your right leg. So straighten out your front leg. Good. Arms are still in a T position, so you almost look like a star. Your back foot is parallel to the back edge of your mat. Begin to lean your torso forward. You got it. Drop your right hand down on the inside of your right leg. Sending your left arm all the way up to the sky. Same principle here. Looping your left glute in towards your body, spiraling it in, sending your left shoulder backwards in space. Fingertips are right up towards the sky. This is triangle pose, Trikonasana. Good. On your next inhale, begin to windmill your arms back up to warrior two. Windmill all the way over to frame your front foot. And then step your right foot back to meet your left foot in a high plank position. Slide forward in your high plank. Option to lower your knees down, untuck your toes. Lower down, Chaturanga Dandasana. Inhale, press into your palms evenly. Lift your heart forward. Exhale, curl over your toes, pike your hips up and back into downward facing dog. Moving into the other side here right away. Inhale, extend your left leg up and back behind you. Good, stay here and stay high on your back toes for just a moment. Look between your palms. And then exhale, swing your left foot all the way through. This time pivoting on your right foot, your back foot, so that your long edge of your foot is parallel with the back edge of your mat. Check in to see that you've got a front heel to back arch alignment going on here. Lunging into your front foot, and then inhale, engage through your core and windmill your arms all the way up into warrior two, sending one arm to the back of your mat, one arm to the front. Breathing here, in through your nose. And as you start to feel the heat build here in your body, notice what it feels like to generate that heat, but also be supported by the earth beneath you. Beautiful. Inhale here, then exhale, drop your back palm, lift your left hand all the way up towards the sky, sliding your right hand along the back of your leg, exalting your warrior here. Inhale, return to center. And stay here for your exhale. Good, moving through a flow here. Inhale, lift your left hand to the sky, right hand slides down your leg. Exhale, return to warrior two. Check in to see that your left knee is not teeter-tottering or wiggling in or out, that it's nice and firm, and you're rooted down firmly through the back edge of your back foot there. Extend your arm up to the sky once more. And then spiral down into warrior two. This time, drop your left forearm down towards your left thigh. Spiral your hip in and your glutes in towards your body. Send your shoulder back in space. And then extend your arm all the way up to the sky. And then up and overhead. Moving into extended side angle pose here on the opposite side. Beautiful. Windmill your arms all the way back into warrior two. You got it. Straighten out through your front leg. Begin to lean forward with your left fingertips, so you're jutting your right hip backwards in space. Send your left fingertips on towards the inside of your shin, spiraling your right shoulder back in space, and then sending your right arm up towards the sky. Avoid collapsing down here. See if you can stay engaged through your core. Trikonasana, triangle pose. You got it. And then windmill your arms to frame your front foot. Wherever you are, step that front foot back to meet your back foot. Slide forward into a high plank position. Take your knees as wide as the mat. Allow your toes to touch in the center of your mat, and then begin to sit your hips back down towards your heels in child's pose. Finding the level of support that feels good for you, whether your forehead goes down to the mat, up on fists, or stacked palms. Noticing what it feels like here to settle amidst the heat and the energy that you've begun to build here for yourself. And despite that energy that you've been carried through, and that faster pace, which can symbolize the fast pace that we've been in this holiday season. See if you can feel what it represents in your body to be held and supported right where you are. You got it. On your next inhale, lift your chest up off the mat. Walk your hands underneath your shoulders. Cross your ankles behind you. And then begin to sit your hips down through that space that you've created, moving into a seated position here. Good. You got it. Now that you're in your seated position, extend your left leg out in front of you. Send your right leg up and over your left leg, grounding down through your right foot. So you're planting your right foot up and over. Good, and with your foot firmly rooted down into the mat, go ahead and grab a hold of your knee and hug it in towards your body. Keep your right hand exactly where it is. Extend your left hand up and overhead. And then exhale, begin to twist your hand across your knee, sending your right hand back in space to help become a tripod. See if you can maintain engagement in your left foot by flexing your left toes towards your face as you begin to inhale to sit tall and exhale to twist a little bit deeper. Inhale to extend through your crown. Exhale to deepen your twist. Beautiful. On your next inhale, return to center. Unhook your right leg from on top of your left. Send your right leg outwards in space. This time, take your left leg, hook it over your right leg, ground down through your left foot, the sole of your foot. Hug your knee in towards your chest and sit up nice and tall. Keep your right leg engaged and invited to the party here by flexing your right toes towards your face. Send your left hand behind you to prop you up as a tripod. Good, extend your right hand up and overhead. And then exhale, begin to send your right arm across your left knee, hooking it on the outside of your knee. Inhale to sit up nice and tall. Exhale to twist a little deeper. Inhale to lengthen. Exhale to twist. Check and see, without looking, are your right toes still engaged by being flexed up towards the sky? Good. Inhale, return to center. Unhook your left leg from over your right. Join the soles of your feet at the center by connecting the soles of your feet together. Your toes may touch. Good. And with your soles connected here, begin to slowly lower yourself down. Move very slowly and mindfully here as we lie down into a reclined position. Perhaps you take yourself down onto your forearms first. Notice what it feels like. Actually, I invite you to do this, stopping here at your forearms. Notice which parts of your body are being supported here. And then continue your journey down by walking your forearms out, lowering your spine one vertebrae at a time, down towards the mat. Hooking your shoulders underneath your back body and noticing what it feels like here and which parts of your body are supported by the earth. Where do you feel grounded and connected? Right here in Supta Baddha Konasana, reclined cobbler's pose. Place your left hand over your heart center, your right hand onto your low belly. Inhale into your right hand, all the way down in your belly. Send the breath all the way up to your chest. Keep taking a deep breath. And then exhale, release from your chest. And then from your belly. Do that once more. Inhale, filling up your chest and your belly with air. Exhale, sigh it out. Part your lips, open your mouth. You got it. You can stay exactly where you are. Allow your palms to come down towards the mat, keeping your knees exactly where they are. Or option to extend your legs all the way out to the far corners of your mat as we move into our final resting posture for the sequence today in Shavasana. And if you've chosen Shavasana as our resting posture for this practice, notice which additional parts of your body are now being held and supported by the earth. Slowly begin to melt your body in towards the mat. Breathing deeply. With every inhale, feeling connected. With every exhale, releasing stress, tension, busyness. Your next inhale, without moving your body, send your attention to the fingertips and the toes. Draw your attention to the base of your heels, your hips, your shoulders, the back of your head. All points of contact with your mat, all parts of your body and your being that are well supported by the earth. On your next deep breath in, begin to wiggle your fingertips and your toes. Slowly beginning to extend your arms up and overhead, reaching above you, stretching your toes out in the opposite direction as if someone is pulling you from one end and the other. Exhale to release. Slowly make your way onto one side by rolling over. With your eyes still closed, mindfully begin to transition by pressing your palms for support as you come up to a seated position. We will meet in a cross-legged seated position, trusting with your eyes closed that your body will take you exactly where you need to go. Resist the temptation to be perfect or right, knowing that you are whole and complete and imperfectly perfect exactly as you are. In your seated position now, gently begin to blink your eyes open, noticing what parts of your space fill your awareness as you reconnect with the room around you. Inhale, extend your arms up and overhead. Reach nice and tall. Extend through your spine and extend through your crown here for one last deep collective breath. And then exhale, just like we started. Swan dive your arms all the way down as if moving through water. One more time, deep breath in. Arms come up and overhead. Palms connect overhead this time, and then exhale, draw your hands down to heart center. As we move into the holiday season, I wish you peace, rest, and joy. I wish you the opportunity to connect with yourself just as much as you long to connect with others this holiday season. May you feel grounded and supported. The light and the love in me sees and bows to the light and the love within each of you. Namaste.